Money grows, peace can grow. Money that grow, only money grows.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your man King Marcel, and we back with another video. Got episode 6 of Strange and Crazy TikToks that I think you all need to see. We are about to get straight into this. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys summon up and join the kingdom. But with that being said, let's jump right into this. I got some good ones for y'all.
The silver cat feeds
when blue meets yellow in the west.
Who's this guy? So this monster is a Casper Mountain crawler. There's a whole class of cryptids called crawlers, and they're often mistaken with skinwalkers, but crawlers are something different. Now, why is our crawler standing up? This is the size that they would be. Normally, they crawl around on all fours. Our museum is only so big, so some things that are normally on all fours might be shown standing when we make the model for them. These guys, I think, are terrifying. There's a lot of cool crawler pictures all over the internet.
Could you imagine seeing that?
This new, deeply unsettling footage comes from a woman in North Carolina. She owns a rural property out there and has multiple security cameras mounted around her house. She has one on the front of her home, one on the side of her home, and one on the back of her home. Well, this late October night, 2 of her cameras would record something that will send chills down your spine.
Cause what?
A pale, emaciated creature is seen crawling around in her backyard. Her side camera also catches it. It runs quickly and jumps off a wall-like structure. The way this thing moves, the way it looks, we can tell it's not human.
Could you
It's
imagine
too skinny, too pale,
walking out
too
at night
otherworldly looking.
and coming across something like that?
The homeowners said they arrived home this night and noticed some movement in the distance by their tree line. They got a quick glimpse and they couldn't tell what it was from their angle. Not really thinking much of it though, they decided to check their cameras anyways, and they were completely shocked. I mean, look how long its limbs are as it walks. It's the definition of disturbing. So could these kinds of creatures be roaming and multiplying in North Carolina? The uptick in sightings is making many believe so. But what even is this thing?
Uptick in sightings?
A hill crawler, a skinwalker?
RF engineering is literally sorcery. How does injecting an AC current on a piece of wire allow you to communicate over the air with another piece of wire? Just drawing an F with metal will allow you to transmit video and audio over the air to another F made of metal. It's crazy.
Technology is modern day sorcery.
I just want to get this kind of straight, so we all on the same page here. So this literally happened. 600 people arrested literally in California they stumbled upon a child sex trafficking ring who were being tipped off. And it led to 600 people and not a peep on the local news. This ain't on every major news station in the world. They in on it.
Exactly.
Everybody. Social media is suppressing it. I'm glad they being taken down. This is crazy.
But then the same thing happened like 2 years ago in Florida with the Walt Disney situation. That came and went so quick too. And it's like, whatever happened to those people? Are they still locked up? Like, when were the trials? We got to start being on top of this, y'all.
They said all kind of kids from all over the country was found. And then most of the people that they found was the buyers of these kids. And not a word about it on the news.
Wonder why.
Are comparing hand clap games.
to what we do here in the U.S. and what they do in Brazil. And please show them this one you just did. And we go double this, double that, double this, double that, double this, that. And then can you do this?
I forgot about that. Okay, is that shame? That is shame.
And we go shame. I don't want to go to Mexico no more. There's a big fat policeman at my door. He grabbed me by the collar. He made me pay $1. I don't want to go to Mexico no more. Shame on you.
It's literally locked in our DNA.
So this is probably one of the craziest things I've came across surfing the web. So Jim Henson was into the occult and mysticism, apparently. In 1982, he directed a movie titled The Dark Crystal, which was said to be inspired by ideas from the Seth Material. So the Seth Material is a collection of writing channeled by Jane Roberts. She would use Ouija boards to try to channel this entity named Seth. So the book talked about metaphysics and multi-dimensions and shit. Now the crazy part is this former Marine named Kyle Odom. He started having these visions that were triggered by meditation. He said that there were amphibian reptilian aliens living underground with advanced tech, mind controlling our leaders. He says that the aliens view humans like zoo animals and inspire religions and cause global conflicts for amusement, sort of like some loosh harvesting shit. But the crazy thing is, in his sketches, they all look like fucking Muppets, dog. What do you guys think? Tripping or nah?
Is he tripping?
I'm one of the leading cybersecurity researchers on Flock Safety. I'm going to explain to you what I've learned in the past 7 months in under 2 minutes. So they started with license plate readers in this 2018 patent for a dynamic surveillance network. These LPRs feed video into their AI model, which is trained to identify people, vehicles, animals, and bikes. After their model was trained, they expanded beyond LPR to video cameras that live stream with people detection and vehicle detection capabilities. One difference between LPR and video cameras, based on their website, is that video cameras have people and vehicle capabilities, while LPR is exclusively for vehicles. Early in 2025, in a private seminar, they announced that all LPRs nationwide were upgraded into video cameras for free. So we can assume all LPRs are now video cameras and have their capabilities. So anytime you drive or walk past a Flock Safety camera, it detects your location, the time, and everything it can identify in the video, which is then stored for 30 days by default, and up to 5 years if your local police department pays for it. All this video becomes searchable content for you, your vehicle, or your license plate for however long they choose to store that data, but at a minimum of 30 days. Now, at this point, they needed more sensors in their dynamic surveillance network, so they created the Wing Gateway. The Wing Gateway turns any IP camera into an AI-powered Flock camera. This means gas station cameras, residential cameras, payment terminals, Ring doorbells. Essentially, any device that has video can be integrated as another surveillance node.
Wow.
They then added Raven, which is their audio detection device for gunshots. But if they follow the same strategy we saw for the LPRs, in the next few years, we can expect them to have general audio surveillance integrated with everyday devices as well. All these camera and audio devices feed into Flock OS, where they could search and create alerts for people and vehicles. So every device in their network nationwide becomes a deputized surveillance node that's constantly watching or listening. Searches are done using Freeform, which is their natural language query engine. So you could say, find me a guy with a green hat and a blue shirt, or find me a landscaping truck, and they'll find every record that matches those identifiers from every device nationwide, if they allow it. Even though landscaping trucks aren't definitive, it'll show trucks with trailers, a truck with a tree sticker on the side, or even a truck with a lawnmower in the back. In one case, they saw a guy had a cowboy hat on his dash and was wearing a blue shirt inside the truck. So they found him by searching for a cowboy hat and a blue shirt. Once an individual is identified, they investigate them with Flock Nova, their intelligence platform marketed around the phrase, search once, see everything. Nova can take any identifier, a license plate, a name, email, phone number, address, and turn it from one data point into hundreds of data points, covering you and the people that you're associated with. One example is using your mobile advertising ID and the apps you use on your phone to track your location. Another example is using your address to know everyone that lives at your house and their ages. If they wanted to identify which people visited your house, they can create a geofence search around your address for all IP or device signals detected at your address for whatever time period they choose. My analysis of their code shows that you could be searched by email, phone number, social security number, name, address, license plate, IP address, online usernames, credit card numbers, and also cryptocurrency accounts. For these searches, there's no requirement for a warrant, reason, or case number in most circumstances. Some police departments require a case number to access Nova, while others require nothing. They once solved a case by using the LPR network. They identified the individual by his license plate, found his house by using Flock Nova, and then went to his house. The individual wasn't there, so they went back, used Nova again, and saw that at one point he had ordered food from a food delivery app to a friend's address. They went to that friend's address and arrested the individual. So when Flock Safety says on their website that their cameras don't capture personal information,
they're lying.
That's narrowly true. But a license plate is tied to an identity, and your identity is nearly endlessly searchable in their system. And that is the architecture Flock Safety has spent years constructing while marketing license plate readers. If you like this, I'll be explaining more in new videos, and I recommend that you read my security research.
And what's so disturbing about that is two things. We finding out how heavily involved Epstein was with this technology. And that with all of these children that go missing, why can't they use this technology to find them? Or are they using this technology to take them?
He is not a media guy. This is someone, I don't know what or for who. I can't really put my finger on it, but this is an intelligence person. 100%. Most of the time, the list, just to give you an idea, like a quick kind of image, if you will.
Interesting.
On Jmail, this is the Steve Bannon list. Look at how long this is. This is all from 2019.
526 emails. Wow.
And Bannon would just send him.
Or threads. 526 threads.
Yeah.
One of those threads had 137 emails on it.
Yeah. So let me just.
Holy
I got
crap.
some highlights. So Bannon sends on March 12th, 2019. He quotes an article in sex offender plea deal case. White House declines to back Labor Secretary Acosta, and then sends the link to the article. And Jeffrey then responds, "How do you read it?" And Bannon goes, "Like you are trying to make amends. Do some good." Bannon on August 19th, 2018 sends an article to Jeffrey Epstein. And he goes, that's more like it. We need you to find the Exorcist hat. Do you think you might want to come to Europe? Bannon responds, yes, but let's discuss. There is a crazed jihad against you. I've never seen anything like it, and I've seen a lot. Jeffrey Epstein goes, yes, no worry. November too important to risk diversion. Mission first. Steve Bannon goes, exactly. What is the mission? And he goes, but somebody big has you in the gun sights. Steve Bannon,
Dude.
And then there's a bunch of text messages, by the way, that were released. Steve Bannon was, I don't care what you say. He wasn't just using this guy for a documentary or whatever. Steve Bannon was friends with this guy. Was friends with this guy straight up. His connections that go back to him that you can paint all the way to the 80s. I've talked about what Henry Abbott reported. Shout out to Henry Abbott reporting this in 2020 and 2021. Years ago, he had it dead to rights. Huge shout out to that guy. I have said for years to people, and I really have stayed away from this on air. I don't like getting involved in the drama, but you can attest to this, Steve, and Alessio will attest to this like crazy. Alessio, by the way, has like a 3-part series he's dropping on his channel on YouTube, Alessio Alaman, on Bannon. that he's done based off a lot of things that I've discussed with him over the years. And then he went in and did all, you know, all the primary sourcing and everything. And, you know, he called me when he was pretty much done.
It goes so deep.
There's something messed up about ants too. Ants. Okay. When an ant dies, I guess they give off the smell of certain acid that is heavy in Trix cereal. So if ants get near Trix cereal, to them it smells like dead ants. Listen to me here. They bring the Trix cereal to their ant graveyard and bury it.
So tricks are made out of dead ants.
Silly rabbit.
Okay, so I just made a video about how printers secretly encode the paper you print out of it, information about you that you can't see but is detectable under a microscope. And a bunch of people commented something that blows this story even more wide open. It's even more shocking than I thought. So just to get you up to speed, there's a secret code in color printers that enables government tracking, okay? And I'm not joking, US Secret Service admitted, and there's tracking that's embedded in the piece of paper that comes out of your printer. And of course, this has to do with underground democracy movements that produce political or religious pamphlets and flyers, like the Russian Samizdat in the 1980s, that they'll need to be anonymous when they're printing this stuff off, but this technology makes it easier for governments to find dissenters. So there's little microscopic yellow dots on your paper when it's printed. And I was wondering though, like what information could that entail? Like your printer, the make and model of it, like where you bought it, but that's not really that helpful. And then someone commented something shocking. For one, is this why your printer will not print? If you're out of yellow ink and you're just trying to print black and white, it's just black text on white paper, but it won't print. It needs you to top up the colors. Is that because you need yellow because they need those microscopic yellow dots to be able to track and trace it? Another person commented, is this why we have to update our printers and the apps and everything all the time so that it keeps up-to-date information about who's printing it? And then the Motherlode, an IT security expert and engineer for wireless routers and more, commented. He said when you print a document off on any computer, embedded in that document is usually author information, computer, MAC address information, embedded file information from the software you printed it from, potentially the MAC address from your Wi-Fi router. And also, if you think about it, most printers, if not all, like you got to plug that damn thing into the friggin' internet. And it usually emits its own frequency too. Like, you know, if you have a printer, you'll go on your Wi-Fi on your phone and you'll see there's a printer you can connect to. And then he says, there could be microscopic, almost translucent watermark across the entire document containing everything about you. He says they could embed this also in a very small, high-resolution coding system that translates very small hexadecimal characters that you won't even see, but will translate to everything I mentioned above, yet you won't even see it. Now, you thought I was going to talk about how the printer ink is like one of the most expensive liquids in the world, and it's the razor and blade model where you said they sell you the printer for cheap, but you got to buy super expensive printer ink all the time. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, does this mean if you went and disseminated documents in your neighborhood, let's say, talking about a particular subject that you think needs to be talked about and it needs to be, people need to be aware of it, all it takes is one guy complains, that gets sent, then the authorities send it to their head office to look at it under a microscope, and boom, they know where it was printed. The fact that this information, that this technology was made in the 2000s is shocking to me, because clearly they are seeing in the future, what if people start to figure out what we're up to? We better make sure we can find them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
Wow.
We are cooked, bro. I was just going through the Epstein files and I just found some fucking insane shit. Y'all have to see this, bro. So, I'm on the Epstein files. Y'all can see .gov. And let's see here. Let's find this first email for context. So y'all see here. Wednesday, 3rd, October 12th. Click and read this, bro. Redacted to, I'm assuming, someone Jeffrey Epstein knew, from Francis Derby. Don't know who this is. I haven't looked it up. If y'all know, let me know. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. Jeffrey Epstein said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. Because jerky is not regular food, right? That said, he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer for his next trip. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Any other questions, please let me know. Thank you, Francis. So, I mean, this looks fucking terrible as it is, but it gets worse. So, we have that email from 2012. Now, 2013, same dude, Francis, that name shows up again. I think Francis Derby comes up, I'm not sure. It doesn't say who he's from now, but it does say who it's to. Not redacted. Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky class, anyone? He will also bring you a taste of his new jerky recipe from the restaurant and sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it, beef jerky and steak. He has time at 3 p.m. tomorrow if this is okay with you. Huh.
Like, who's going to a restaurant
So,
called
regarding the last email
Cannibal?
and how terrible that sounds, they're talking about learning to make jerky from a cook that works at Cannibal and Cooks. We're so cooked. It's over.
Literally cooked. They're literally cooking us.
Did y'all catch that Ring Super Bowl commercial or nah?
This is Milo. Pets are family. But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your
What about these
neighborhood with
kids?
Search Party. Available to everyone for free right now. Join the neighborhood at ring.com.
I know anybody that read the book 1984, your hairs is probably standing up on your goddamn neck right now because, to be honest, that's what that book is about. If you're one of the people that unfortunately haven't read 1984, I would definitely do so now. That's one of the best reads I ever had because it really explains 52 years ago where America was going to start going. The over-controlling government, the spreading the propaganda, mass surveillance. This is literally what this is. This is mass surveillance. They could see everything all day, every day type shit. This shit ain't about no damn dogs, to be honest. And if it was about missing dogs, let's make a Ring camera for missing kids.
Building.
Thank you.
Structures. Exactly like they say. Right under our feet. Underground. Thousands of miles of underground structures. What are we seeing today? I think we have unlocked something massive. I think they are very aware of what is under the ground at this point, and they were rediscovering it in the 18 and 1900s, and we are now following behind them right now. It's all out there. If you're able to read with open eyes, it clearly states that there are thousands of miles of underground structures right under the city of Chicago with maximum use of scarce real estate. Is this not exactly what we want to see? Is it not putting everything together for us, connecting it all, showing that buildings are underground, real estate underground, thousands of miles of underground structures right under the city of Chicago? We now know that this.
And I've been telling everybody for a while now that I believe that Illinois is the true land of Israel. And that all of the domes, the deep underground military bases are all connected to Chicago. The Hoover Dam is connected to Chicago. All of these places interconnect with Chicago. Why? Thousands of miles.
Here. It is no longer a question of if the previous civilization's work is underground. It's now a matter of just finding them and exposing them to everybody in the world. We now know that they are there. We have photos of inside the tunnels. We know that they lead to all of the buildings. Thousands of miles of tunnels, underground structures, underground real estate. We know that there are thousands of miles of tunnels. We were told this, yet here in 1910, the system is only showing us 60 miles on the map. So we know that there's a lot of tunnels that are not being shown to us today. And we know that these tunnels connect to these buildings, and I'm gonna show that soon, including the City Hall. It's so interesting to me that they leave this part of the story out every single time. We have never seen in any construction story that they connected the local tunnel to the building. We don't see that the City Hall also has a tunnel system connected to it within the narrative. Yet we know that the City Hall is 100% connected to this massive tunnel system. I have also located first-hand accounts of these tunnels where this individual worked at the Field Museum of Natural History in the late 1970s, where he explains that the building was a customer of the Chicago Tunnel Company, where the tunnel was connected via an elevator He explains that after all of the freight cars were abandoned, they were destroyed and scrapped, except for one, which remained in the Field Museum's sub-basement. The basement to the basement is what we are reading. This building is much bigger than we are told. Cut off from the rest of the tunnel system was a train from the past. The manager of the physical plant, Norman, took this individual down there. He says it seemed at the time they would remain there forever. Well, no, they removed them in the late 1990s, of course. And then the Illinois Railway Museum took them over. Supposedly saved and are now preserved there, where you can read about them here. Here, meaning 404, page not found. So I would be shocked, personally, if they're still there today, just knowing what we know. For anyone that wants to check it out, it is located at 7000 Olson Road, Union, Illinois, right outside of a town called Marengo. Very interesting stuff. I would love to know if those carts are still there, or if they would tell us that they ever had them, and if they would have a further story about them. So this story continues on to say that on April 13th, 1992, what some have called the Chicago Flood began, where contractors accidentally disturbed the clay surrounding one of the freight tunnels. Of course they did. Do you think this was an accident? You gotta let me know in the comments. Where the leak wasn't taken seriously at first, where it turned into a breach.
And I implore you all to think about the Underground Railroad. Do y'all think that they just called it the Underground Railroad and was really running through forests and random people houses that was willing to help them? Or was there an underground tunnel system from the past civilization that was from here that the black people knew about because they were the original inhabitants of this land? And they just want to keep us in the dark on it? Because why would it be called the Underground Railroad? And they wasn't going underground. It gets deep. It gets
Near the
really deep.
Chicago River, with eventually hundreds of millions of gallons of water flowing into the tunnel system and into the sub-basements of many Chicago buildings. Again, I'm going to ask, knowing what we know, do you think this was an accident? Or do you think this was a destruction project where a man named Bruce had his 15 minutes of fame because he was the only recognized expert on the tunnel system, where the great majority of people, of course, had no idea such a thing even existed?
Right.
Or I think that 20 to 30 years later, now, we may be right back to that point, showing how fast people forget things, showing that the majority of people, yet again, need to be shown these tunnels and understand what is below their feet.
Now, by September, they built a complete ramp. I'd like to see that happen today this fast. I'd like to see that happen today this fast. 40 feet of water. And there's another 2 floors below that. And there's another 2 floors below that. For me, it started back in high school and college. And one day, the light bulb went off. Hey, my dad is the night supervisor at Marshall Fields. Maybe they have an opening. And they did.
A very interesting note here, down at the bottom of the article, where on September 1st, 2000, the Central Electric Railfans Association hosted a rare inspection tour of parts of the underground tunnel system. Unfortunately, we are told that this is not likely to be repeated anytime soon. On the wake of something that happened in 2001, there are now security concerns. The old tunnel system, a vital part of Chicago's infrastructure, a vital part of the old world, our true history, our true past, is now closed off from public access. Now, it is very possible that these tunnels were found, connecting the old world buildings together, connecting underground real estate, structures, as we were told, finding these tunnels, and then our civilization constructed their form of transportation throughout this system, with the railways being laid after finding these tunnels. This is a possibility, but in my opinion,
So let's see what they say right here. All right, so I'm just going to belly flop to this part of the article, and it says, after correlating all data that have been made public to the present time, all right, the conclusion is unavoidable that the oldest civilization was in the Yucatan and Central America. All right, again, the Kansas City Journal in 1896 wrote this. They're telling you that if you really do the research and you start compiling all this information, all this evidence, it's unavoidable, all right, that the oldest civilization was in the Yucatan and Central America.
Central
Future
America.
discoveries may change this conclusion, It seems that Egypt was first peopled by immigrants from the Yucatan. Say what? It seems that Egypt was first peopled by the immigrants from Yucatan. Space will allow only a few facts that clearly indicate the truth of this assertion. First, the pyramids of Yucatan are some of them much larger than any found in Egypt. All right, much larger than any found in Egypt. That of Cheops not accepted. All right, and Giza. Second, the pyramids of Egypt bear structural
like Monk's Mount. Monk's Mount is literally the biggest pyramid mount ever, and that's in St. Louis. And if Memphis is Egypt, Egypt was right next to Israel. Illinois is right next to Memphis. Tennessee. It's the next state. Look up the original meaning of Illinois. Is this the land of Israel?
evidence of having been modeled on those of Yucatan, notably of the one at Coloma, which covers 23 acres. Third, the early Egyptians and the Mayas of Yucatan had the same system of reckoning time, but the Mayas developed a system that was far superior. Again, we got that in the Foreign Quarterly Review, right? Far superior or excelled, in which antedates that of Egypt is older than Egypt. All right? Fourth, the Mayas manufactured cement that was of the same material as that of ancient Egypt. Fifth, the architecture of Yucatan is of the same general type as that of an ancient Egypt, but it is finer and seems to have been the model that the Egyptians attempted to imitate. They attempted to imitate our models from here, America. Sixth, the art of both countries, as displayed in their ceramics and architecture, is of the same type or school, that of Yucatan, being much more highly developed. All right, again, this was an article written in the Kansas City Journal, Monday, October 12th, 1896, if you want to look it up. Prehistoric man, they're telling you straight up in this article back in 1896 that we were the source, we were the cradle of civilization.
I had a dream Kai was a clone, bro.
You had a dream Kai was a clone?
Yeah, I had a dream he was a clone, and then Kai was under like a we were just talking, but like under, and I was going somewhere, he was underground, like he was locked up, like the old him was locked up, like screaming and shit or whatever.
So those are the strange and crazy TikToks that I have for you all today. It's getting real out here, and I hope that this great awakening during this age of Aquarius is really opening you all's eyes to the truth of the matter, that it's a lot of things that we have been brainwashed to not know, to not think exist, and to just ignore. But we cannot move forward with that mindset. We all have to come together and figure out what actually happened in the past so that we know where we're going in our future. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys are subbing up and joining the kingdom. But with that being said, King Marcel out. Peace.
Who is alive, looking for the prize, that's eternal life, and bringing the change in my mind, talking real peace of mind.